Welcome back, Doll fans. If you haven't seen, Tyreek Hill is posting again about getting traded, and I'm telling you right now, Chris Grier is doing something. Tyreek Hill wouldn't be acting like this if something weren't happening, because let's be real. I think everybody needs to understand this, that Tyreek Hill is getting traded. Like, I don't know when, but I think I have a speculation of what's happening right now. Because at this point, you can't have a dude that's continually saying that he wants to get traded on the team next year. It just wouldn't make any freaking sense. And the reason he's probably doing that is because he's hearing things. And what I think Chris Grier is doing, we saw this offseason, and so far Chris Grier has been very stand backish and hasn't really done anything crazy, which isn't really his style. Usually every offseason we typically do something nuts or get some crazy player. I think that's what's going to happen with this. And my speculation of what I think is going to go down with Tyreek Hill is he's waiting for the draft. And if you look at this draft, receiver-wise, it's very top-heavy, where like Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, maybe even Igbuka, but he's kind of like a number 2 guy. There's not really too many number 1s that you can get out of this draft. McMillan obviously is going to go, one of the first ones, but this is what I'm kind of considering is Chris Grier is waiting for the draft right now. And one of the teams, maybe Dallas or whatever it is, might not be able to get the guy that they want. Even Matthew Golden is kind of like, you don't really know if he's going to be a number 1. And what's going to happen is they're going to get in that second round. They've missed on receivers. There's not really much left. And Tyreek Hill's going to be on the phone as an option. And that's what I think Chris Grier is trying to do right now. He's trying to do this in a way where he doesn't need to trade him right now for the least amount of picks. But we're in the middle of a draft. We're going to see what we can do. Chris Grier might basically see what teams are kind of doing and possibly try and trade Tyreek Hill in the draft for a couple of extra draft picks, because Tyreek Hill's not staying with Dolphins. If he's doing this stuff over and over again whenever it comes to any sort of public, this isn't trolling. This is that he kind of sees the writing on the wall right now, and it's Tyreek Hill being Tyreek Hill, because you can't have a player on your team right now that's continually laughing and smiling at every moment of somebody saying that he's getting traded. That is not a player that you want on your team, and especially with the philosophy that Mike McDaniel wants to implement this coming year of being much more of a hard-nosed football coach and not so buddy-buddy. You can't have a dude that's doing this. So Tyreek Hill's getting traded. It's just about when, and I think the perfect opportunity is going to be during the draft, because what do we need to do? We need to get as many successful players out of this draft as possible and move some of that contract off of the team so that the next round of free agency after the draft, we can get as many players as possible. And I think that's what he's kind of coming up with in his head right now, is if you can maybe even trade some of our draft picks to get some draft picks back and to move that contract off of this team, you can then free up a lot of money to then go and get the second round of free agents like Calais Campbell and, some of the offensive linemen that are still out there. You can free up some money to go and do that after the draft and accumulate a possible pick or two, like most likely maybe like a third or second round pick, and move that contract. And you then get much more money to go sign all the players that you need to sign. So that's what I truly think is happening, because like I said, Tyreek Hill's getting traded. You can't have a dude that's on this team that for the 5th time is acknowledging him getting traded as like putting a smiley, like if you haven't seen the Twitter, the tweet, not the Twitter, he basically put a smiley face for someone saying that Tyreek Hill's getting traded, and then put a deuces sign next to like somebody else saying it as well. He is definitely trolling and probably knows something. He probably knows that they're trying to move him. They just can't figure out where. And I think that something's going to happen, either during the draft or somewhere close, where someone's going to trade for Tyreek Hill. You're not going to keep this player on this team. The way that he acts and everything, you can't have it wouldn't make any sense for Mike McDaniel to try and be this hard-nosed guy and to still have this player on the team. Now, what would that do for the team? We would definitely shake up what we're trying to do, but could also be for something like packaging Tyreek Hill with some picks to move up in the draft. I don't know, but there's definitely writings on the wall that Chris Grier's doing something. He's doing something right now. He was too quiet in the offseason. And again, you're not going to have a player like this on the team that's continually doing this, continually trolling on Twitter, continually acknowledging the fact of him getting traded as like a good thing, you're not going to have that on the team. Tyreek Hill's getting traded, and this is what I think he's going to be traded for. I think we're going to either get more picks or move up in the draft with him as a package trade and try and move that contract off the team. Because at the end of the day, like when you really consider Tyreek Hill, you know, we had some explosive years with Mike McDaniel, but they've kind of figured us out. And one of the, I think, underlying reasons behind that is if you kept hearing what Mike McDaniel was saying with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, is that when they get pressed, they have a hard time getting off of it. And that's been a continual thing with Tyreek Hill, where we have to move him around because anytime somebody presses him, he struggles. And it was a continual thing throughout the season. And, you know, with the interceptions, and I understand that the arm and the hand was hurt. I totally get that. But again, even in past years, Tyreek Hill has dropped really big passes that would have won us games against like the Chiefs and, you know, certain games that were big time throws by Tua that he has dropped in the end zone. And at this point, it's just been a continual thing with him, with the press coverage, that, and the injuries and all of that stuff. And I know he's a tough player, but coming into this year, you can't have a guy like this. You truly can't. You know, as you can see, like Waddle was speculated to get traded as well, but Waddle never started doing all this stuff that Tyreek Hill is doing. Waddle's a part of the team, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you right now. I truly believe that Waddle is going to step up if Tyreek Hill is gone. I 100% believe that. And I think a lot of people, you know, because of this past year, are kind of down on Waddle. I think, you know, when you have an energy like this in the locker room, like Tyreek Hill, like having this like clown mentality that continually does all these stupid antics, it takes a toll on you as a team. And I'm telling you right now, if Tyreek Hill gets moved, Waddle is going to shine. He's just going to. I truly believe that it's going to be his squad now, and he's going to become the player. Because if you look at Waddle, you know, I know Tyreek Hill is a little bit faster than him, but if you look at Waddle, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Waddle's a better route runner than Tyreek Hill. Like Waddle's routes, when you would see him, like Tyreek Hill versus Sauce Gardner, or Waddle versus Sauce Gardner, or Tyreek Hill versus, I forgot the other guy that was on the Titans that was traded from the Chiefs. If you watch them too, Waddle tends to get open a little more. It's just they don't throw him the ball. So 100% believe that Waddle's going to step up if Tyreek Hill's gone. And it's going to happen. Tyreek Hill's getting traded. It's a matter of what Chris Grier is doing. I think he's planning something big, either for this draft or something, in order to get this team back right. Because again, at the end of the day, can't have a guy like this doing this constantly and consistently over and over again. It takes a toll on your team, you know? It takes a toll on the players, and honestly, I think it's really taking a toll on Waddle, having to deal with this all the time and have to put up with this clown crap. I think he's going to shine once he's gone. So, as always, guys, fins up. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this. If you have a different ideology, I'd love to hear it. Like and subscribe, and love you all. Fins up, baby. Peace.